Yenya is afraid. Yenya is afraid. Let's run away from here. Yenya is afraid.
The fields were gorgeous. Beautiful clearing with flowers and beautiful hills. I'd be running there and going to the fields of wheat, and they're full of red poppies and cornflower. And I remember running through that thing literally above my head because I was a kid. We used to go and catch crayfish and little trouts in the streams there.
I remember as a kid always bringing flowers home. I always liked that. I was a weird kid, you know. Loved flowers. I could still beat up people in school, though.
I always loved flying, and the views were incredible from the air. I usually carry a sketchbook with me, so I start doodling sketches from the aerial perspective. And I discovered I really loved this kind of a grid.
In January of '93, I just went to the gym, and it was dark, and I turned the light on. And all of a sudden, it hit me right away, 14 stations. And I knew that it had to be in charcoal. I have no idea why, but I did know they would be in charcoal, they would be in black and white. There was a lot of things that are spinning in my head, and I drew on a little piece of regular paper, sort of drew the concept of an octagonal room with all those things going all the way around. And after I finished it, I was so excited. I went and I showed it to Sarah, and I just crumpled a piece of paper and threw it in the garbage can. And she saved it. I mean, she pulled it out of the garbage can and said, "No, you don't throw this out."
This project also changed the way I'm going to be doing my light pieces. I like this physical thing, that charcoal and conte on my hands, and actually being able to feel the paper and allowing it to be sloppier and much more reflective of the way my hand moves. I used to live in the mountains in Poland, so we go up top of a mountain and look down. I started getting very much interested in the concept of what the earth looks like from the air. Arizona, with its crop circles, created sort of beautiful squares of land. The contrast got me very interested in shapes, and I started drawing aerial views.
Let's see. I was trying to see if there's anything here at that point. Oh, this is my first things where I started getting the map coordinates.
Flying around, the houses at night, flying alone, teenage space shell.
My initial drawings, no matter how much I based it on the most sincere way of looking at it, it came out to be cartoonish. It wouldn't work. But when I started looking at the actual aerial photographs, which I sort of walked myself in through my previous art, when I started looking at it, when I started realizing how calm everything is from the earth,
A whole new world opened up. Once I started seeing the depth of the material, I realized that I will have to take this documentation that a lot of cases nobody has found before.
I had to look through, oh my God, thousands of works. But when I started looking at the actual pieces, even though they were calm and views from 24,000 feet up, they started speaking to me, and they spoke to me much more poignantly than anything that my intent or imagination would do.
So large on the horizon.
There's a sort of almost hypnotic beauty to a landscape from the air. You know, it tells you why people climb mountains, to just have a view.
Star.
I use the photograph as a source. I use the photograph as a point of departure. But it's not just a blown up photograph. It's going to be reinterpreted by me.
It's okay to say.
Now it's going to be almost 9 years that I'm working on this project. The whole war took 6. I thought literally in naivete that I could probably do the thing within a year.
It's a very simple system where this actually can slide to any. This is a totally different backing. You gotta loosen it up a little bit. I think as an artist that looking at the actual documents went through into my fingertips, and somehow I was able to be impartial and not distinguishing between a barrack or a ash pile and a cultivated field, allowing each one to have the same kind of attention as an object to be drawn.
Recognizable. So this here has an area here where the field ends. It's going to be double thing.
There's hope we have fears. We get further.
Most of the pictures in this series really were taken by the Luftwaffe. Certainly, the Luftwaffe were not interested in documenting the existence of the camps. But just because they were interested in good field reconnaissance, or because they were interested in better maps, or whatever their interest was, they've captured the camps that were there. I don't think they ever thought that those photographs are going to be captured. This is about 8.5 years of string. Look at this, I got a nice new string, had to put in yesterday, but I was working yesterday and the string actually broke on me. And now here's the real dark area. So what I do is I triangulate, it's almost like artillery fire. I go a little bit here, or I do some of the line, I find this line here, for instance, I was able to find that. I was able to find right now the crossroad here that breaks down here.
I mean, German ordnance works were incredible. They had specific caliber munition for every separate kind of a cannon. You know, they were not unified. And all those cannons wouldn't function. Here's the Russians are advancing. You know, the troops are moving forward. Their troops needed ordnance, their troops needed food, their troops needed blankets, clothing, whatever. But they took the trains out and they pushed them through, and they just get another couple 100,000 Jews. Just a couple more babies and old men and old women, and just to put them back into the gas chamber. It was like an incredible obsession.
I remember playing hooky with my friends from school, and my mother would say to me, "What's for homework today?" And I would think something out, and she would say, "Okay, drop your pants." I would drop my pants, and she would check my underwear. My underwear was wet. She knew I was swimming. So we decided to go the next time playing hooky, and we were running butt naked through the beach. We would go jump into the river, and then when we came home, my mom would say, "What's for homework?" And I would tell her. And then she would say, "Okay, drop your pants." You touch my underwear, dry. Yes, I was at school.
My father was a tailor. My father was a damn good tailor. And he always told me, you know, Zanishka Schneider, you know, don't be a tailor. I mean, he said, do anything. You know, it's amazing because I heard so many horror stories from people how their parents were stopping them from becoming artists. And my father was, you know, my mother too, extremely proud of my being an artist. Nobody tried to make me a doctor, a lawyer, or a CPA. My mother was a seamstress. Although she was much better educated than my father. She actually finished 7 years of grammar school in Poland. She spoke 5 languages. My dad was not an intellectual, but he was a person of a... He was a good human being. He was a good human being. This is sort of a recreation of what I had in Libov in Poland, in our backyard. This is red currant. Then as a kid, I used to lie down below this and just eat. Those are gooseberries. This is agrest in Polish. That's porzeczki. All of this here is raspberry, maliny. Love it. Sarah makes jam from that.
Gold teeth and a curse for this town. All in my mouth.
Look, it's just beautiful. Take a look at that. It just.
They got out here, turned me back into the ground.
My house was 1.5 kilometers from the border. As a little kid, I still remember hearing shots. I remember playing war games and I would actually have a real Nazi helmet. The most common thing was bullet-pockmarked houses, ruins, you know. 2 houses would be standing and 4 houses would be demolished, and then 1 house would have, say, the first and second floor would be working, the 3rd floor would be bombed out. You know, people coming with different numbers on their hands. It wasn't something you talked about, what happened there, and the villages were there. I was in the villages. I wasn't in those towns. I was a son of survivors, and we survived by running away to Russia.
Now take a look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I mean, there were some trees here last summer. My mother loved it here. When she came here in early June and she was walking around, I mean, she was 80-some years old. She was walking around the gooseberries and eating them off the bushes and the raspberries, and you could see her. Her hands was being stained from the raspberries, and she was like a little kid. Hey, they came up. I can't believe it. Take a look at this.
I'm lying in my bed, the blanket is warm. This body will never be saved from harm. I still feel your hair, black ribbons of cold.
Gross-Rosen was actually probably the first camp that came to my mind when I originally thought of the project, because I didn't live far away from that. Whenever I went from, say, Legnica to my aunt's in Dzierżoniów, the train would pass down there, and that's Gross-Rosen. I remember my mother, when we were sitting in the train, and I said, "What's here in this station?" She said, "It's a horrible place." That's all I remember, really. I don't think I ever saw the camp itself. And strange as it may be, that's the one camp I couldn't find. Ouch. Everything's gonna fall apart now, but that's how it is. What this is as I kept doing research, I kept track of everything. And I tried every resource I could, the RAF, the Captured German War document, Gross-Rosen. See, I'm trying to find this. See, these are the maps. This is the maps I've signed. I couldn't find this thing. I've been looking for it for over 8 years. In the National Archives, they give you a very big light table, and you work in, you're cranking the film that goes in. I mean, they're 9x9-inch negatives. There's a lot of work. And I'm cranking, and I see as if I'm flying on a plane, and I see that the plane is lowering itself because the details are getting larger and larger. When all of a sudden, I see the outlines of the Żuchowski forest. I just stopped. I literally had chills, and the whole frame was filled with the location of the camp. But I was trying to figure out, why would this Luftwaffe plane lower itself down and take a picture of this area, which has a minor road and only a narrow gauge railroad? And the only thing I could think about is that was just when the camp started operating. And they were just seeing how well it's disguised. And it's pretty damn well disguised.
I guess I'm a certain kind of an archaeologist. It's taking a whole area and digging into it and pulling out stroke of eraser or stroke of charcoal one by one, pulling out details and clarifying and taking the rubble of memory out So therefore, I'm not trying to be photographic, but it's my gesture of my hand, the precision of it, the pressure that I know, that I feel, the pressure that I feel in my fingers, the pressure I feel in my heart. That's why I'm using the sources.
So now I am having a hard time trying to figure out what this shape is. So there's a triangular, but there's a major line here. I'm sure that this had to be a sunny day because there's not a cloud in the image. Loops in like that, and then it goes on this side. I'm sure the trees were just sprouting green, and I'm sure that the fields were starting to be covered with a layer of green wheat or whatever else was being grown. And there was one photograph which I physically got nauseous when I looked at it because all of a sudden I realized there's smoke coming out from the crematoria. And it's just something I couldn't even handle as an artist. I could not draw that.
Oh man, hands get tired.
When I take the prisoners swimming, they have the time of their life.
You can see that this is a area of...
I love to watch them floating on their backs, unburdened and relaxed.
I remember my mother telling me when she wrote to her mother, who was in Novosond, saying, why don't you come and cross the border somehow and come with us and so forth. And her mother said to her, what are they gonna do? I'm okay here. What are they gonna do? Kill an old woman? Yes, they were going to kill an old woman.
We are constantly on trial. It's a way to be free.
I guess when the war started, my sister was 3 years old. Her name was Jenta. She called herself Yenya. And according to my father, he walked like 6 kilometers in the snow to the hospital to get her there.
To the highest place.
And she died in my mother's arm, diphtheria. My mom always told me that her last words were, "Uciekajmy Yenya Shimboi," which means, let's run away from here. Yenya is afraid.
Watching the wind rip the leaves from the tree.
And then I guess my parents had my brother who was born when my mother was sick with typhoid. She was half conscious, half unconscious, had no milk. And he died of hunger. I guess he was maybe 6 weeks old. And I guess they tried again, and In their 40th year, I was born. My siblings, that's all I know about. And you know, in a way, I was raised as the only son. In a way, I'm the youngest.
Soon we'll all be back in the yard. Dreaming of cool rivers and tall grass. We are constantly on trial. It's a way to be free.
I remember.
Michael's going to just take it slowly, slide it down. Okay. Hallelujah. All right.
I lucked out of marrying a woman with a sister and two brothers. So they're like my family.
There's a black tinted sunset with the prettiest of skies. Laid back, resting your head on my thighs. There is some awful accent.
Lingers long on a boulevard. Rain in the future and the sky is hard. Champs-Élysées, no Broadway, no blue spaces, no Park Place. Lonely Avenue
Got it?
in the dream. Suddenly falling, the air is full of light. All the shining trees, apostolic families, radiant behind locked doors in a dream. There was something in your eyes that I could never find. A time that we will never get to share. Not in this life, not in this life. Somehow